children. You're welcome, Councilwoman Coleman. So Roderick Royal, not only being a fantastic father, a former NFL player, former college referee, is also a mental health professional here in Baton Rouge, wearing many hats. So we were having a conversation a couple weeks ago, and the conversation shifted to kids and youth sports, and specifically the way some of the parents carry on. And you've reffed at every level. Talk about that a little bit, and from a referee standpoint, what it feels and looks like to you when you see parents just acting like, you know, out there with their kids in front of them.
Right, it's very, very, very frustrating because, you know, no one is perfect.
Yeah.
And it's all about angles when you officiate.
Yeah.
You can be in one spot and see one thing, and then someone sitting in the stands can see something else.
Yeah.
It's to the point to where I feel like some rules or something needs to be in place to protect officials because it's actually getting out of hand.
What's the worst thing you've experienced as an official at any level?
Sad thing that I've actually seen an individual actually put his hands on a woman.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Very terrible. Very terrible. Yes.
I mean, when my son played for the YMCA, I coached, and I couldn't wait for him to be done with that because I never wanted to touch that again. It was not the best experience,
right.
And it was mostly because of the parents,
right,
and the way the parents behaved. So, putting your mental health hat on, psychologically, the impact it has on a kid who you're trying to teach principles of life and character and accountability.
Correct.
When the parents act like that, doesn't it just mess it up?
It does. So it spreads like a wildfire. So it starts from the stands, then it goes down to the coach, and then the coach onto the court. And what happens is you have a lot of parents that are living through their children and want them to excel to levels that they never gotten to.
Yeah.
And so apply the pressure on the kid is stressed, and the parent becomes stressed as well, and they just want everything to go perfect for that.
You played at the highest level. What would be your advice to, because nowadays the kids are an investment from junior high.
Correct.
I mean, they have nutrition plans
Correct.
and workout plans and sleep schedules and all of that. It's a lot of pressure, but I also understand the investment. What's your advice to a parent or guardian of a young man or a young woman who has potential to play professionally in some sport?
First thing is let your kid or let them experience all the adversity as possible. Adversity builds character.
Yeah.
If they experience it early on, they'll be able to handle it as they get older.
Yeah.
As we see, the transfer portal has a lot of individuals transferring anytime they deal with adversity. That worries me because I think down the long run, that's going to cause a lot of problems with someone that's dealing with things. They're going to run away from it. So the biggest thing is just let them deal with adversity, be there to pick them up, advise them, and lead them in the right direction.
What about on the financial side? What advice would you give? Because I mean, a lot of these kids come from nothing and end up with more money than they'd ever imagined. What would be your advice about that?
My advice with that would be to just educate yourself. Surround yourself with someone that's been in that position or that is going in that direction. And interview everyone. Get a second, third, fourth opinion so you can make sure that the financial situation is done correctly.
In the last couple of minutes we have here, mental health. I know it's important. You and I have had conversations about encouraging, and we talk about encouraging men to be vulnerable enough to say when they're not okay. Talk about that a little bit.
So what happens is this one thing that's called pride. As you know, most men are prideful, and they want to hold everything in. You have to be the big tough guy and not express yourself. That shows the signs of weakness. But over time, the more you express yourself, it's all about getting it out. When you get it out, you release more, you feel better. You actually learn how to cope with certain things. And the biggest thing about that as well is surrounding yourself with a group of like-minded individuals that you can trust to express yourself.
Yeah. So the circle is everything. And then, finally, mentoring. I referenced earlier how, I think you are a fantastic father. Your boys they're always doing something sports-wise, or y'all are out fishing or whatever. Mentoring. A lot of these young men, my nephew's here today. He's, I believe in that, like mentoring and helping these young men realize they're not alone. What's your advice about mentoring?
Mentoring, just, I believe that everyone should pick 1 to 2 individuals that they can mentor. Lead by example. Be there for them. Actually, just gather someone that you can take under your wing and expose them to certain things and certain things in life that they're not getting exposed to.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing about mentoring, just exposure.
Well, in our culture, like when the first time I met Chauncey, who kind of became my nephew, and we got together, my only advice to him was pay it forward.
Right.
Because that's what we believe in, pay it
Right.
forward. You don't owe me anything, pay it forward.
Right.
And I think the more we do that for these young men, the better it's going to be. Look, brother, I got to have you on the audio podcast so we can talk more.
Most
Rod
definitely.
Royal, up next, Matt Moscone is going to talk about the Super Bowl. Can't wait to hear what he's got to say about that.
Right.